The world blinked, and suddenly Prince Louis seemed to vanish into thin air. One moment he was everywhere, smiling for the press, waving from the royal balcony, charming the crowds with his impish antics. The next, he was gone. No school appearances, no media glimpses, no cheerful interactions with the public. Overnight, the monarchy's youngest light disappeared, and only now did the palace confirm it. But what they said is only part of the story. Behind the carefully measured words lies a maze of rumors, leaked documents, and a single earth-shattering choice that shifted everything. Make sure to subscribe so you catch every twist in this saga. For weeks, royal viewing groups were buzzing with whispers. At first, it seemed simple. A child with a cold, a few days at home, a break from cameras and flashing lenses. But as days passed, those whispers evolved into urgent speculation. Incident after incident, Louis was absent. His place on the public stage, once vibrant and lively, was suddenly empty. Why was the youngest prince, adored by millions, being systematically removed from view? Formal engagements made the absence even more glaring. On ceremonial occasions, meticulously planned and brimming with symbolism, Prince George stood tall beside his father. Princess Charlotte radiated poise and charm, flawlessly executing the royal smile. And yet, the space where Louis had always shone remained eerily vacant. Not a single reference, no photographs, no fleeting gestures of acknowledgement. The Wales family was reduced to 4 members at 3 major events, leaving public worry deepened by confusion and speculation. First came the Commonwealth Day service, then the changing of the guard, followed by the Remembrance Sunday ceremony. Each occasion unfolded without Louis. Speculation intensified, and the palace held its silence. Yet the public, trained to read the subtle cues of royal life, realized something was off. The absence wasn't just noticeable, it was deafening. People asked themselves, was this a medical issue? A private family matter, or something far more serious? The lack of explanation began to feel less like protection and more like a deliberate concealment. Then, moments ago, the world's screens exploded. The palace finally broke its silence. The statement was clinical, cautious, and carefully worded. Prince Louis would be taking protected time away from public life, supposedly in his best interests. But anyone familiar with the inner workings of royalty knows this isn't just about privacy. It is coded language. Something had gone wrong behind palace walls, and the choice to hide him from public view was not temporary. It was permanent. History shows that the palace rarely stays quiet without good reason. This is not the first time a royal child has been pulled from the spotlight, and the consequences have never been simple. Once a young member disappears into the shadows, reintroducing them is rarely easy. To understand the full weight of Louis's absence, we must rewind to the earliest signs of trouble, those moments captured on camera but overlooked at the time. On that famous balcony, Louis's body language said more than any statement ever could. The surface suggested another cheerful family gathering. The royal family waved to the crowds, smiles perfectly practiced, gestures rehearsed. Yet one small figure did not move with the flow. Normally full of energy and unpredictable charm, Prince Louis stood stiffly, hands clenched, expression blank, his playful personality muted into near invisibility. Frame by frame, the timidity that once seemed like simple childhood shyness revealed something deeper, a subtle but urgent plea to be seen, understood, and perhaps protected. A renowned child behavior analyst later examined the footage and stunned observers with her findings. Louis's posture was rigid, his gaze frequently averted, and his emotional presence retreating. He fidgeted, not in play, but in discomfort. His shoulders tensed with each cheer from the crowd, and he quietly leaned away from the audience. These weren't signs of a playful, energetic child. They were red flags of someone struggling quietly, trying to hold themselves together in a world that expected perfection. Catherine's expression hid her concern for most viewers, but one fleeting glance revealed everything. In that split second, her eyes were not filled with pride. They were filled with worry. A mother's instinct was on display, checking to see if something could go wrong, rather than simply comforting her child. Even Prince William subtly shifted, glancing at a senior aide behind the family, giving a small nod. That aide melted into the shadows, quietly carrying out a directive that few noticed at the time. Was that the moment a tacit plan began, quietly signaling the start of Louis's withdrawal from public life? Insiders say William has a history of decisive action to protect his children from the pressures of royal scrutiny. Behind the scenes, photographers later admitted that stringent instructions were issued. No solo shots, no close-ups, no lingering lenses on Louis. Hours before the event, some were asked to implement a subtle embargo, a request that seemed unusual at the time, but now fits perfectly into the larger, hidden narrative. It wasn't just protocol. It was a silent farewell. Louis's last balcony appearance was choreographed with intention, using glances, gestures, and a precise flow of movement to signal the shift. The applause allowed by the crowd was brief and controlled, a symbolic marker of the start of his disappearance from public events. Within the palace walls, tension quietly escalated. Catherine, once known for her serene composure, became a fierce defender of her son. She fought not only against media intrusion, but against the very machinery of the crown itself. Handwritten letters, raw with emotion, were delivered to King Charles and senior aides. In them, Catherine pleaded, not for sympathy, but for time, for understanding, for a reprieve for Louis. She begged for a break from a relentless performance that threatened to overwhelm him, a machine carefully tuned to demand perfection at every step. Even within the carefully curated walls of the palace, a silent battle raged. Catherine's fight was subtle yet urgent, a struggle to secure a safe space for her child in a world that demanded flawless appearances. Each day, Louis remained in public view. The pressure mounted. Her strategy was tactical, maternal, and deeply personal. The stakes were higher than anyone could have guessed, and her actions demonstrated a determination to protect him from harm above all else. Louis's disappearance is more than the absence of a child from public events. It's a window into the secretive, relentless workings of royalty. Every glance, every nod, every unspoken instruction tells a story far more complex than the world sees. The public sees absence. Insiders see a calculated retreat, a shield against relentless scrutiny, and a family navigating forces beyond their control. From the balcony to ceremonial events, to private letters tucked away in palace archives, every detail forms a story of struggle, survival, and quiet desperation within an institution that resists deviation. Catherine's quiet, powerful efforts were a fight for her child's well-being, a protective act carried out in whispers and glances. Every moment, every signal, every controlled gesture was part of a larger plan to shield him from a system that could easily overwhelm him. Even the youngest royals are not immune to pressure. Louis's story reminds us that behind the grandeur, pageantry, and tradition, there are real children navigating extraordinary expectations. His absence is not trivial. It signals a deeper reality about the challenges of growing up under a microscope. Each day, each carefully monitored public appearance or absence is part of a narrative balancing family, tradition, and a child's well-being. And so, the youngest light of the monarchy remains hidden, not for trivial reasons, but because something serious, profound, and beyond immediate understanding dictated this decision. Catherine's fight continues in silence. Her letters, glances, and pleas a testament to a mother's devotion in the face of an institution that rarely bends. She made no appeal for sympathy. She begged for time, empathy, and a break from the never-ending show that was gradually destroying her child. Behind closed doors, Catherine's letters revealed what the cameras never captured. In them, she described Louis's emotional shifts in painstaking detail, unexpected, unjustified tears, moments when he withdrew into solitude, his once carefree laughter giving way to nervous muttering and quiet, subdued questions. She documented how he started hiding during visits from palace aides, how he flinched at the click of camera shutters, and how he refused guidance from royal tutors. These were not tantrums, they were cries for help. Yet Catherine had to navigate a suffocating dichotomy. She was not just a mother witnessing her child's slow retreat. She was the future queen consort. Every action she took carried weight beyond the domestic sphere, political, symbolic, and scrutinized by an institution with zero tolerance for deviation. Every plea she made was examined, dissected, and often resisted, amplifying the stress she carried. Advisors cautioned her relentlessly. Pulling Louie from events, they warned, would ignite rumors, make headlines, and trigger panic. Silence was demanded. Restraint was advised. Preserve the image. But Catherine had no interest in preserving appearances. The well-being of her child was all that mattered. Her internal struggle became unbearable. Each passing day, every public appearance without resolution, intensified the tension within her and the palace alike. Sources say she refused to attend several evening engagements unless her son's needs were prioritized. Those who knew her noticed a subtle but profound change. From composed and diplomatic, she transformed into someone tense, unyielding, and uncompromising. A senior aide recalled a planning meeting where Catherine abruptly left after the Louis matter was mentioned, leaving colleagues stunned. The next day, Catherine escalated her stance. Another letter was sent, far beyond a polite request. This was an ultimatum. Louis, expected to attend a ceremonial unveiling with his brothers, refused to leave his room. Coaxing had failed. Reassurances had no effect. The situation had reached its breaking point. Catherine drew a line, refusing to participate in the scheduled event, disregarding the royal calendar for the first time since joining the family. Shockwaves rippled through palace corridors. The institution, as always, prioritized stability over emotional rifts. Protocol demanded compliance, not compassion. But Catherine was far from done. The storm brewing inside her contrasted sharply with her calm, public facade. In the palace's image-conscious war rooms, her voice had been ignored, yet someone else began paying attention. Someone more dangerous when provoked, someone closer to the throne. Even Prince William, the traditionally stoic heir, began to sense that his family's future might be jeopardized by centuries-old traditions. He saw firsthand the cost the crown was exacting on his son behind closed doors. The man raised to be king reached his breaking point. Insider accounts of a private discussion at Clarence House reveal astonishing details. What began as a private conversation escalated into what witnesses later described as the most combustible family confrontation since Diana's years of palace strife. Queen Camilla sat flanking King Charles, who occupied the center of the room. William arrived late, silent and icy, holding a folder containing reports, Catherine's heartfelt letters, and, most damning, warnings from Louis's doctors. Materials he had long shunned. The discussion quickly spiraled. William initially attempted calm, citing his concerns about his son's emotional deterioration and the palace's refusal to adjust its approach. But when Camilla, according to insiders, interjected to suggest Louis was just going through a difficult period, William erupted. The future king slammed the folder shut. "He's not your puppet," he declared. Silence fell. King Charles attempted to placate him, assuring William that all actions were in Louis's best interest, including Camilla's push to feature him publicly to gain favor. But William's voice trembled with barely contained rage, exposing the magnitude of the family's internal fracture. Now, with the palace finally breaking its silence to the public, the absence of Louis weighs heavier than any statement could convey. This was never merely a matter of protected time away or carefully worded concern. This was a child trapped between legacy and well-being, caught between centuries of tradition and a mother and father willing to risk everything behind palace gates to protect him. Something profound shifted within the monarchy. A future king questioned the very system he was born to uphold, while a future queen chose her child over protocol. And the youngest prince, once the brightest spark on the balcony, became the center of a battle no child should ever face. If William truly drew a line in the sand and Catherine forced the institution to bend, this is no longer a simple family decision. It's a seismic shift in the monarchy itself. Heirs challenging the crown is almost unheard of. And yet here it is. The foundations of centuries-old tradition were trembling. Prince Louis may be out of sight, but the consequences of what transpired behind those palace walls are only beginning to surface. Every glance, every letter, every act of defiance is a testament to the extraordinary lengths this family went to protect one of its youngest members. This chapter in the royal crisis is far from over. The world has been left staring at a gap where a child once shone, a silence that echoes louder than words, and a conflict that reminds everyone that even the most polished institution carries human fragility at its core. The decisions made in those quiet palace rooms will ripple for generations, shaping the monarchy in ways unseen until now. Stay with us, because the next chapter in this royal drama promises revelations, tensions, and choices that could redefine everything we know about the institution and the family at its heart. Don't miss it. Like, comment, and subscribe to follow every twist and turn as this saga continues to unfold.